Hello. I want to remind everybody, I know that there are new people to my channel, and I forget that from time to time. But in First Amendment law, there is a difference between property that's open to the public and a traditional public forum. Property that's open to the public may be a non-public forum. It just depends on the nature of the property and how it is being used. Adderley v. Florida says that the government can preserve the purpose of the property for its intended purpose, the use of the property for its intended purpose. So if the government buys a piece of property to use it as a, Veterans Affairs hospital, then the government can restrict the use of that hospital to Veterans Affairs hospital uses. It doesn't have to open it up to First Amendment uses. Coquinda, US v. Coquinda, that was post office. The post offices are open to the public, and the Supreme Court of the United States said that the post office is not a public forum. It is a non-public forum. So I just want to remind everybody of that. Just because it's open to the public doesn't mean that you get to do whatever the hell you want, whenever the hell you want. California is a little different. California, if it's open to the public, you've got a lot more freedom of speech at that locale. But for First Amendment purposes, the being open to the public has nothing to do with being a traditional public forum. The second thing is no expectation of privacy in public. That is a Fourth Amendment issue. You as a person don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy as far as searches and seizures in public. If there is something laying out in public in open view, like if you have contraband laying on your car seat and an officer can see it from a place where he is lawfully allowed to be, you don't have a protection. It's visible from public. If the officers are recording your conversation and you're in a public place, you can't get that. They don't need a warrant for it because there's no expectation of privacy, or there may be a much more limited expectation of privacy. It doesn't really have to do anything with First Amendment law. It's not a First Amendment law principle. It doesn't apply to the First Amendment. So trying to shoehorn in no reasonable expectation of privacy in public into First Amendment issues is pretty silly. As far as the difference between cameras and human senses and camera memory and human memory, if you can't understand the difference between them, you're retarded, and I shouldn't have to explain it to you. There is a fundamental difference between a camera and a human. Cameras take pictures that are accurate. We don't see things. Our minds actively filter things out that our minds have determined aren't threats. So you stop seeing things. Maybe not threats, but that aren't important. You stop seeing things, you stop hearing things that aren't important. That's the way our brains work. There's so much information coming in all the time that our brains actively filter out unnecessary information. Cameras don't do that. So something that you might not recognize as important when you glance at it, a camera having snapped a picture, you can go back to that picture and pore over it for hours and hours and hours until you've seen every detail in that picture. It's like those find the where's Waldo kind of things, or find the clue things, where you stare at a picture until you figure out like where the hidden whatever is. That's the difference. So if you can't tell the difference between a picture and it's also a lot easier to hand around a picture or a video to disseminate a person's private information than it is to recall it verbatim. And yes, the hospital does have to take reasonable measures to protect that information from people seeing it or hearing it. But it's a lot easier because, cameras have zoom, human eyes don't. Microphones, you can get a much better directional microphone or a hidden mic or plant a mic or things like that where you can't plant an ear, so there are differences. That's all I'm saying. So open to the public does not mean traditional public forum. That's number one. No expectation of privacy in public is misleading, and it's Fourth Amendment law. Again, I remind people of, you can't film up a woman's skirt in public. She has a reasonable expectation of privacy that you're not going to be filming up her skirt. So, you figure out the difference there. First Amendment doesn't use that particular line of cases. So, and then finally, there is a difference between cameras and humans. So I hope that clears things up. I know there was some confusion in my comments. Read Adderley v. Florida if you're having any issue with it. Read US v. Coquinda, US v. Grace. There's lots of wonderful Supreme Court cases where they have determined that areas that are open to the public are not public forums. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.